I leave the TV on, I'm done with your sad eyes. I can take another night with you on like this. So let's go, I'm sure you can take it. You've been crying over him for a lifetime. So if you don't mind, we will dance till it's way past.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Also welcome if you are new. We are back at it again this week with another helping hand video. If it's your first time here, my helping hand videos is where I go to someone else's house and help them get everything back in order for free. So this week, this is actually the same house I was at last week, but the great thing about this is I actually went during the school day. And this busy mom of three has a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So the nice thing on this day is the 3 and the 7-year-old were at school, and the 1-year-old was taking a nap. So we were able to get so much done together. Last week, I know she was not in the video at all because she was just wrangling all the little rugrats so that I could get as much done as possible.
He's a vagabond, he won't love you better. I can watch you sinking down on the bottom ship. So count to 10, then again, Mississippi. You've been crying over him for a lifetime. So if you don't mind, we will dance till it's way past late. Another cause that we can fly.
I have absolutely been loving starting up this series again. One, you guys know I love helping out people that are just at a point in their life where they're feeling overwhelmed and don't even know where to start. But also, since we are still fairly new to Florida, I don't have a lot of mom friends. And I have met some pretty awesome women while doing this that it's just been really nice to have this way to get out. We were chit-chatting the whole time, and it really just felt like I was hanging out with a friend. I also had a ton of fun this past weekend. I actually went and did, not weekend, actually Monday. I went and did coffee with a subscriber, and that was awesome. I always love chit-chatting with you guys on Instagram and whatnot, and a lot of you I really consider friends. We talk on the regular, so it was really cool to actually go and hang out and chit-chat for like 3 hours at my mom's coffee shop. It was awesome. Like I said, I don't have a ton of friends down here. It's mainly family, so I have been really enjoying getting to know some new mom friends.
Loved you from the first time you called me late. Loved you for your wits and your wicked games. Yeah, always on my mind, always in my brain. Yeah, with you the summer came and went in a day, and I've been craving you.
On these cabinets, I am using the crud cutter in the red bottle. I've shown it before. So I buy the big red bottle at the hardware store, and then I have just a spray bottle that I concentrate it in. But this stuff works so well, especially on any really dirty area in your kitchen, because you know it's like full of grease. This top of the fridge was a really good example of it needed more heavy duty. And if you're ever noticing stuff having a harder time coming off, just give it that time to sit. Waiting a couple minutes and really letting it sit makes a huge difference. I did also end up going in with some Dawn Power Wash. It's another one of my go-to favorites. And my little spin brush. I've been using this thing all over. It works really well. Plus, I was very short, so I was having a hard time getting into certain areas. I'll be honest, I did not get this fridge as perfect as I would have wanted, purely for height issues. I reached as far as I could, even on a step stool, and I am short. And there's certain things that if I don't have my large step ladder, is just out of my control.
And I've been craving you since the first time that I sat by your side. Ooh, and I've been on my knees thinking time is gonna fix me inside. Oh,
I always love cleaning kitchens because I feel like kitchens are one of those things that it can be a great gateway into getting you motivated. If your kitchen's clean, it makes such a huge difference in your life. So I always enjoy cleaning the kitchen. There's also projects you can do in the kitchen that you get instant gratification. So if your counters are dirty and cluttered, just getting rid of the dishes and the clutter and a quick wipe down often gives you enough motivation to keep on and just go a little bit further. On this stove, I started off with the power paste, but there was definitely some more stubborn stain areas. So then I ended up going in with oven cleaner. Absolutely love oven cleaner when you have areas that are need a little bit more attention. So I just sprayed this on and then I let it sit and came back to it later. Often the time on it does all the work you need. And then since I already had my oven cleaner out, I decided I would open up the stove and spray that down really quick. Luckily, it wasn't that bad. So I knew I could give this just the 15-20 minutes of letting the actual product sit. And that should have been enough to really get it all clean. You can see the stove, I didn't even give 15-20 minutes and it's all it needed. It just needed that little bit of time. I also, when I've had like really bad areas, I've let it go in layers. I know if you have the time to like let this stuff sit overnight, it works even better. But in my situation, I often only have a couple of hours that I am working with. Like I said, this was a school day, so I dropped the kids off at school, got over here about 10, and I had to be out in time to go get the kids from school. And that's usually when I'll work in layers. So I'll spray it on, let it sit for a little bit, scrub it, wipe it down, and then spray it again. But her stovetop wasn't horrible, so luckily I didn't have to do that. One spray was plenty for the top. And whenever I go to someone else's house, like I like doing the obvious stuff that'll give them the motivation when I'm gone to keep on with the process. So obviously I'm wiping down counters and I'm cleaning off the stuff that's on it, trying to put it back in a little bit more organized and pretty way. But my big goal is to do some of those deep cleaning projects that they may have been way too overwhelmed with for a while and they haven't been getting to. So that's why I like going to the top of the fridge or in the stove, the cabinets, those really deep areas that I'm sure she's cleaning up dishes on a regular basis. She's got 3 kids and a husband. Like, that's just life all the time. But being able to go in and hit those projects that might be a little bit more difficult is something that I always try to do with every house I'm working on, which is why last time I was at her house, I carpet cleaned her family room because I know that was a big thing on her to-do list that she just wasn't able to get to, so I was able to help her out with that. I also know if you are a busy mom like me, you understand sometimes the struggle of keeping a house clean. I know I often get comments from older generation, if it's my mom's generation or my grandmother's generation, of how they had so many kids and kept their house clean. And I'm not saying it's everyone, but we definitely, as millennial mommies, hear that often of, well, I was able to keep it all done. But I think there's such a big difference nowadays. One of the biggest being is, like, if your kids are outside playing. Like, when I was a little kid and I was outside playing, I was outside by myself or with my siblings. Like, we were biking around, we were going to the park, we were doing everything. Nowadays, my kids who were the same age that I was when I was doing that, as moms, we can't do it anymore because we always have that fear of someone calling CPS on us or something like that, and it is just the truth of it nowadays. Plus the fear of the internet, you see so much more that I also think there's just the fear of our mind of what could happen. So nowadays, if our kids are outside, we have to be outside with them. If they're inside, it's kind of hard to clean because they're making a mess around you. So all of this rant to be said is, if you are a mama and you are feeling overwhelmed, know you are not alone. Know that times in this world has changed, and our mommy journey is not the same as your mother's or your grandmother's, and that is okay. We're doing things a little different nowadays, and we're all figuring it out. They had to figure out certain things in their generation. We're figuring out certain things in our generation, and we're all just doing the best we can, and that's all you can ask for, which is one reason why I always say focus on progress, not perfection. Do not overwhelm yourself with the expectations of being Pinterest perfect, because none of us are, even those Pinterest mamas.
Celestial bodies, celestial bodies. Oh, oh. Celestial bodies, celestial bodies. Oh, oh.
I always love when I can get to scrubbing out a sink, especially these white porcelain. They can be tricky. They show so many, I don't want to say imperfections, but they always get these weird gray scratches. So I went in just with some Dawn and then some Power Paste and scrubbed this out and made it look so much better. And then the mom ended up coming over and helping putting all the dishes away, because I was like, I honestly have no idea where you put them, so I'm going to let you handle that as I move on to other things.
You if we dance in the blizzard, we are not getting cold. So keep on dancing, baby.
I do also want to take this time to challenge any other YouTubers that are watching my channel to start your own helping hand series. I don't care if you call it helping hands, hoarders, whatever you want to call it. But I just love the idea of people in other states, other areas being able to help people. I get comments all the time and messages all the time from people all over the country. And I just personally can't do that. I can't travel. I have 3 small children. So as much as I would love to take a weekend and go to New York or go to California or go to Tennessee, all these places that you guys have messaged me, it just truly is not possible without taking days away from my children, which I'm just not comfortable with. So if there is any other YouTubes out there, I challenge you, put out a post on Facebook or something of families that need help and do this yourself. If our community alone just took on a project a month or a project a week, think of the massive difference we could make in our communities. It would be huge. Plus, I'm telling you, it's not only helping out them, you in the end also just feel so blessed and thankful that you were able to help someone. I always say, as much as I'm helping these families, they are helping me, because it always just makes me feel really good to be able to help someone. And yes, we also had our little pup helper. He made sure if any crumbs were falling on the floor, he was cleaning those up for us. So he was definitely making sure to do his fair share as well. I you guys will also see in some videos you see the homeowners, in other videos you do not, and it is all personal preference. I always ask them if they're comfortable being on film or not, and if they're not, I fully respect their privacy. So I know last week you guys didn't see her at all, but like I said, she was actually in another room keeping the littles occupied. But this week she was all about like going around and helping and just trying to tackle as much as she could without the kids being around. Her husband was at work, and it was perfect. I will say we might not have gotten as much done as we could have, just because we were having such a good time, just like chit-chatting and talking and getting to know each other. Like I said, I've been really enjoying getting to know some different mamas around here and different people around here. It's also always fun to like hear someone's story. So we were definitely keeping each other entertained and going this whole process.
And we all got different highs, and no one likes to wait. No patience. It's a death dance. We ain't got nothing to lose. Staring up is what we do. And me and mine, we take what we want. We are the colors.
Now I'm just moving on to the floors, giving it a quick vacuum to get all the little crumbs and stuff up, and then I'm going to mopping it as well. I am just using a powdered Tide mixture with some pine sol. You guys know I love my pine sol and I love my powdered Tide. It works so well every time. There were some areas that was a little bit more stubborn, but if you give it your like mop it once and then go back over it a second time after it's had some time to like soak, it usually makes it a lot easier to get the stuff off. Like here, you can kind of see there were some areas. I did go in some areas just with my nail, and these are my mop socks. You guys see these all the time, but they're just microfiber socks, which are great because you're not getting little footprints around while you're mopping. But they also work that if you have tough spots, instead of bending over, usually I can get it off with my toe. And it makes it less slippery because, as you can see, these floors are very shiny, which means they are very slick when wet.
And the middle way's no way. We are the highway. We are the highway. We ain't got nothing to say. Lights match up.
I always love these before and afters because it's so easy to forget where we started compared to where we got. So I'm going to show you some of the befores and the afters in the kitchen. But I still had about an hour or 45 minutes, something like that, before I had to go and pick up my kids from school. So I decided to do a little bit extra on this day rather than just their kitchen.
We ain't got nothing to lose. Staring up is what we do. Me and mine, we take what we want. We are the colors.
So this is their little front room. You can see they have it kind of set up as an office over here, and this is obviously where there's a bunch of like kid stuff. They have, I don't even know what those cushions are called. There's like a special name for those cushions that kids have that they can like make little forts and stuff out of. But I was just looking to give this a simple tidy up. So I wanted to go through and dust some things, do the vacuuming. Like I said, I like to go a little above and beyond and do things that people may not think of. So my big thing was I wanted to be able to wash the walls and wipe down those baseboards. Because let's be honest, the tidying up, that's something that this mama's doing every single day. If you got 2 toddlers and a 7-year-old, tidying up is a 24-hour project, and often you just can't get down to those other things. I did really want to do the carpets in here as well, but I knew I didn't have the time, so I often have to like prioritize the areas that I know I can get done and will make the biggest impact to help out the family.
Sleeping alone, I can never make it on my own. Tell me what I'm gonna do. Tell me how I'm gonna live my life without you. Yeah, tell me why we don't make sense.
wanted to mention, because if you follow us on our family vlog channel, you might have saw this, but if you don't, you haven't seen it. But Bobby and I are talking about doing a meet and greet at Sweet Marley's in Daytona Beach on October 7th. It's going to be from 2 to 4, so nothing really formal. Just come hang out, chit chat. You guys know I have said I am an introvert, but I do love getting to know you guys. Like I said, I just had coffee with one of you guys this week, and it was a lot of fun to sit down and just chit chat with someone for 3 hours and get to know them. So I'm excited about this little meet and greet coming up very, very soon. Don't feel like there's any obligation to come. I just know a lot of people have asked for it, and Bobby really wanted to do it. So like I said, that's going to be October 7th at Sweet Marley's Coffee Shop in Daytona Beach. If you guys don't know, Sweet Marley's is actually owned by my mom, so that's why we decided to have it there. It makes it easy. We just told Mom, hey, by the way, we're going to be doing this.
Together, you, oh, you. I keep wishing and wishing and wishing. Tell me what I'm gonna do. Tell me how I'm gonna live my life without you. Yeah, tell me why we don't make sense. Tell me what I'm gonna do. Tell me how I'm gonna live my...
Now, quickly moving on to the little sitting area of this. So at this point, the 1-year-old had woken up. So you're going to see her running throughout as well. Mama was trying to keep her occupied, and I was just going around and doing a quick tidy in here. I really wanted to, like I said, tackle this area and just give it a little bit of a calming, serene feel for them. But also their front entry. I could tell she was struggling with shoe organization and clutter. So those were all things that I was trying to fit into the last little bit of time I had before I had to leave and get the boys from school.
I'll show you where to go. Won't you set free? Behind the town for love, we run away. To get us up when we're...
So it's funny because at this point, you can't see it on frame, but I was talking to the 1-year-old because she was taking the vacuum and playing with it, which is why it was laying on the floor, and it was so cute. We were trying to get her to get her little play vacuum, but she wanted the big vacuum and not a little play vacuum. But it was so adorable to just like see her wanting to help out and clean herself. Definitely reminded me of Freya when it came to that. But yeah, I was talking to the mom about organization for this front entry because each of the kids had a ton of shoes out and everything, and I noticed that the parents didn't. It was purely just the kids. So here in a little bit you're gonna see us go through and get rid of the shoes that aren't necessary, the kids aren't wearing on a regular basis, as well as finding a neater way to keep them clean, because the other issue she was dealing with is this little 1-year-old likes to put on all the shoes and make a mess. So I wanted to make it where it was a easy cleanup for her, because you're not going to prevent the mess. Not with little kids. Mess is going to happen. That's okay. It means your kids are having fun. They're being kids. Like, never stress out about your kids having fun and being kids. That's like totally normal. But if as parents we can find easier ways to clean up after they're done having fun, it'll give us more peace of mind and make it a little bit easier. Because I don't know about you, but clutter and mess gives me anxiety. So if I can get it cleaned quickly, it always helps with my mental state in the long run. So she had this awesome little front entry table that I noticed had this nice little bottom section that she had some like diaper boxes that I think were filled with donations. So I asked her if she had any other baskets that would fit well under here. That way we could designate 3 baskets, 1 for each child, and they could still have a couple shoes in there, but it's going to be the shoes that they would grab on a regular basis, and the rest of the shoes could go in their bedrooms, in their closets, to make it a little bit easier. The 1-year-old had definitely more shoes than the older kids, but like I said, for her, it was a game. She likes to play and put on all of her shoes and play dress up. So we allowed her to have a little bit more shoes out, but the older two, we narrowed it down to just a couple pairs.
Your heart is gonna find a way. Don't you worry now about setting love free. Yeah, that's when you're gonna start to see.
It was funny because we were talking about how we both have that mother-in-law / mother that really loves buying stuff for the kids, which always so thankful for when people are giving clothes and shoes and things for the kids. It's definitely appreciated. But how it can get overwhelming where you have obviously way more shoes than the kids need and way more clothes than the kids need. And this pile in the front area was her working on decluttering and giving her house a simpler thing. But she just was stressed because she didn't have the time to deal with these donations. Her husband was at work. She feels like she's constantly in the car with the kids to and from school. And when she's not in the car, the 1-year-old's napping. So I had told her, let me know what you need to get rid of and I will take it to the donations for her. I actually already had stuff in my car, so it wasn't going to be out of my way. I had to go anyway, and I knew it would really give her a huge boost of motivation because getting rid of a bunch of this stuff in the front hall and not having to look at it all the time makes the biggest difference. Clutter is something that definitely attracts clutter. So the faster you can get those donations out of your house, the better and easier it'll be in the long run.
Now's the time to define who we are. Draw the line and make it like we want it to be. Who's gonna be there to put up a fight? Who's gonna turn all the laws in the right?
And like I said, I definitely probably could have gotten more done on this day, but we were really enjoying company together. So chit-chatting and working together was something we were just doing as well, which sometimes as moms you need also. You need to be able to talk to someone other than your kids and other than your husband. So the mental health day we were taking of girls being able to be girls and talking about our kids and maybe some of the struggles of being mom and some of the joys of being mom and things like that, we were taking advantage of that as well. She was very much a joy to be around, and I really, really enjoyed helping her. I may actually go back because she wants to redo the room that the older two are staying in and give it a little makeover, and she asked me if I wanted to help her. So excited about that and possibly able to help out with a little kid bedroom makeover. Let me know in the comments below if that's something you'd want to see.
We're diamonds in the dust, oh, why can't you see it? Keep getting under your thick skin, trying on, building a nest in you.
Well, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave me a comment down below. Also, if you would share this video on your social media, it always really, really helps me out. But I will see you guys next time. Bye!